apply myself to her more often than not I have. So we made an arrangement that, the 2023 would be my last year doing all this stuff. And it doesn't mean I won't make videos going forward beyond that, but like I mentioned in the last stream, it's probably not going to be anywhere near the pace that you're used to. And that's actually a good thing, because you want to see that you have grown to a point of independence, not needing me to hold your hand. And that's kind of like the goal. That's my only goal for 2023. I want to make zero excuses for anyone that has put the work in, studied, back tested, forward tested, tape reading, the whole business. And there'll be no excuse, because if you follow me when I do the mentoring in 2023, which will all be Twitter based and YouTube based. Okay, so there won't be any kind of private membership signing into this and that. You don't need that. Okay, so when you see people saying, hey, join ICT's private this, that's a lie, because that's not happening. Everything's public. Okay, all my examples are public. I do that for a particular reason. That way, everybody sees the examples. All the examples are the same. There's no, this crowd gets a buy version, this crowd gets the sell version. I've canceled all that stuff for years. There's people out there that say that stuff all the time because they can't do what we do. They got to make up excuses why. There's no way humanly possible someone can be as precise as the examples I show. And that's not me beating my chest, okay? That's just facts, okay? And unless I make them public like that and everybody sees the same thing, it leaves room for people to make those arguments. And years down the road, when they see things taken out of context, they take pieces of social media and they string along a narrative that is nowhere near to what actually happened. New people, clueless individuals, neophytes or new subscribers or viewers would see that and think, wow, there's probably something to that. Maybe there's a reason for caution. And then good old ICT comes out there like I did on Friday and rip everybody out of their chairs and say, look, this is what really goes on. And we're going to cover a little bit about that today. And I know some of you are dying to know, how did I do back-to-back 2 days, leaving the fair value gap open and telling you in advance before it happened, you're going to get that. But it's towards the latter part of the space here. Trust me, I got a little itinerary. Okay, so I won't forget, I promise. But in 2022, I showed, there's talking heads out there that show you screenshots of a supposed background of, their results of, 5 years ago. This is what I did 5 years ago with a screenshot. And that's supposed to be a history, a track history. And I don't delete anything I'm putting out. And when I make a mistake, I leave a typo and I'll say, okay, this is what it is. Or one of my students will come behind me and type in what I meant, and everybody pretty much knows what it is. But I don't delete anything. And any analysis that if I said something, if it's wrong, you see it. And if it's right, it's plain as day. And I went out there and I showed through the lens of a TD Ameritrade account, which is, I believe it's a commonly accepted, realistic, verified, there's no way to game it, none of the funny business that MT4 and I believe MT5 still can be messed around with. Anything MetaTrader, I'm probably gonna get a lot of flack for this, but that's the reason why I walked away from it. Because once it was revealed that, and I kind of suspected that a lot of these guys that were doing it, saying that they made this much money and they only show you the history, you know what I'm talking about. They show you this is the results of my trades. Here's my week, bro. Here's what I've done. This is, nobody can keep up with me, that type of stuff. But you don't see them actually getting in a trade, managing, placing a stop. And that's what I have always done. When I was on baby pips, I showed examples of that. And they were always after the fact, yes. Because you're learning things from hindsight, just like a book. Whenever you sit down and you go to college, unless you're doing a lab or having a laboratory event, which is basically what 2023 is going to be. You're going to be in the laboratory with me, Monsters Incorporated. Okay, I'm going to build monsters. All you have to do is put down all your preconceived ideas and opinions about what it is you think you know about me or what it is I do. And I promise you, I guarantee you, you are going to have the proof that you've always looked for. You're going to have the track record, you're going to have the history, you're going to have the results, and you're going to see the fucking money. Okay? All you have to do is come along for the ride for free. I don't have to pay. You don't have to pay for nothing. You ain't got to buy nothing from me. There's no upsell. There's no service down the road. I'm not going to do another mentorship. All you have to do is take a ride with me. That's it. 2023, I'm putting the nail in the coffin. It's done. Anybody that's ever had an opinion about me that's off base or off centered, they're going to get corrected this year. If you had doubts about whether or not you can do this, I'm going to remove that for you. All you have to do is listen. Just show up, take notes, and pay attention. That's all. Don't ask me questions about something else that I'm not talking about at the time. You may think it's a pressing matter for you to learn what you think you're needing to learn. Like right now, the hot button is, I need to know. And every guru out there that's been ripping me off and renaming my stuff, they're all waiting today for me to talk about how I know when fair value gaps stay open. Because that's what separates me from Chris Lorry's group. Okay? And I've always said this. And I'm not shitting on Chris Lorry. I'm just calling it what it is. Because there's a lot of people that say, I learned how to trade from Chris Lorry. Chris Lorry did not teach me how to trade. Period. Okay? That's the end of the story there. I have always stated that if someone wants to go and learn from somebody else, I have never, ever, ever repped anybody else as an educator but that guy. Now, are you going to see him going in there and executing trades? Probably, unless he's changed. I didn't see him doing that. I didn't see that. But you also didn't see him teaching what I'm teaching. Okay, so this whole idea of a liquidity void, okay, that is it was always a sticking point for me because I didn't see it that way. But just to be, well, polite, I never wanted to correct him, even in our private conversations and emails and such. I always tried to ask him what he meant about this or not. And one of the questions I kept asking him all the time is, when you refer to a fractal in price, what is it that you mean by that? Like, what are you referring to specifically? Not that I don't know what a fractal is. I wanted to know what it is that he's specifically talking. And I never was able to nail him down to a clear-cut response. This is what I refer to here as a fractal. So in a lot of ways, I can see how anybody that's an educator can fall short and miss the mark. And I've been doing it a lot longer, I believe, than Chris Lorry. And I know a little bit about the market. I know a little bit how technical analysis works. And I still couldn't glean what it is that he was trying to deliver when he would refer to a fractal. Okay. Maybe someone else, maybe you're in the audience here and then you're a student of his, and maybe he's even listening too. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful to either one, but I just simply couldn't get it from him what he meant. And maybe you did, and that's great. That's wonderful. That's why some students of mine, they really resonate with me, and that's great. But there's other people who's going to come here with a sincere desire to learn, and they may even put the work in. Maybe my personality or the way I talk, and maybe sometimes I drop F-bombs too much or whatever. Maybe it sounds like I'm bragging when I'm just talking the facts, because I coded this, I authored it, it's mine. And I'm proving it. No one else can prove it like this. It's not meant to be a divisive thing, but unfortunately, sometimes the truth is very decisive. It's decisive and divisive. Okay, so I used to get affected by that. I would wear my heart on my sleeve, and on Baby Pips, I would be offended if someone would say, I don't like how you teach, and it would bother me. Like, it would really bother me. Like it would do damage to me, where I felt like I said, okay, I got to fix this one person. And I would go overboard and put more and more and more into the videos and more into the instructions. And sometimes I slightly deviated from the whole process and plan I outlined that one evening, sitting in my living room where I was reading all these people with this nonsense. They would put up and say, this is what makes the market go up. This is what makes the market go down. And they would show you these things they would add on top of their charts. Okay. And it was it angered me, because that's a lie. That's a lie. See, even if you're in the audience right now and you don't like Inner Circle Trader, you don't like Michael Huddleston, you don't like ICT, okay? You think he's a dick, you think he's a braggadocious, arrogant prick that, you know, doesn't deserve the attention he gets. Okay, put that aside just for a moment, okay? Take your ass over to Twitter and pull up what I did yesterday, okay? You don't see any of these people out here. None of them. Not one of them. Not a